In February of '62, I was the military police duty officer at the Provost Marshal office in Boslerstrasse. And the Provost Marshal said, "Vern, tell all the Germans to go home." This is 4:30 in the afternoon. You don't tell a German to go home when he's supposed to work till 5:30. So they ignored me. The colonel enlightened me on what he wanted done, and the Germans finally left. And about 10 minutes after the last German civilian, secretaries, translators, German police, these 3 civilians came in and went downstairs into our detention cell area. And there was 1 man that was in the detention cell, and there were 2 outside the cell. They stayed there all night, never left. The next morning, Provost Marshal said, "Vern, take me to what we called Alpha 10, which was Brigade Einheit, the bridge to Potsdam." We drove out to the bridge of Potsdam, and he said, "Take all those German border police and put them on the floor of the guardhouse so they can't look out. And there's a telephone in there, and you'll get a phone call. And wave to me what the phone call was all about." So I did that, and he didn't say I couldn't look out, so I was there watching, and about 25 minutes later the phone rang. My duty was the officer in charge of Checkpoint Charlie, but here we are going to Potsdam. And my sergeant at Checkpoint Charlie said, "Lieutenant, we have the student, it's okay." I looked out the window and motioned to my colonel, who was in his car, that it was okay. 3 people got out of the back of his sedan, walked out to the middle of the bridge. I noticed 3 people come from the other side, walked out to the middle of the bridge. They exchanged the 2 in the middle, came back, got in the car, and my colonel said, "Get me to Tempelhof quickly as we can get there." So I turned the blue light on, and off we went in the morning rush hour of Berlin. And we got to Flughafen Tempelhof. We got in underneath the overhang there where there was an airplane, a 4-engine DC-6B, propellers turning over. And these 3 people went up the runway, got onto the airplane, and took off. My colonel said, "You know who that was?" I said, "No, sir." That was Gary Powers. I mean, it was a shock to me that we'd had the Colonel Abel, the Soviet spy, was our guest overnight in our hotel. And it was quite an operation. And no one in the headquarters knew about it except the Provost Marshal.